Hello, welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Wicked, part 6 of In the Jaspers of Kiamiko. One morning, after Six had tried and given up once again, had some sort of lessons for the children, Urgie suggested an indoor game of hide and seek. They drew straws and Nor lost, so she hid her eyes and counted. When she got bored with waiting, she called out, 100! And looked about. She tagged Liir first, though he liked to disappear alone for hours at a time. He was bad at hiding when it came to the required of him. So they hunted together for the older boys and found Urgie and Sarima Solar crouching behind the velvet ruffles suspended from the perch of a stuffed griffin. But Manek, the best at hiding, could not be found. Not in the kitchen, the music room, the towers. They're running out of ideas. The children didn't even dare to go down the musty basement. There's tunnels from here all the way to hell, said Urgie. Where? Why? Said Nor, and Liir echoed. They're hidden, but I don't know where. Everyone says so. Ask Six. I don't think this is because to be used as a waterworks headquarters. It did. Hell burns so hot they need water. The devils tunneled it up here. Nor says, Look, Liir, here's the fish well. In the center of a low vaulted room, damp with moisture beaded up on stone walls, stood a low well with a wooden lid. There was a simple device with a chain and stone for shipping the lid sideways. It was a child's play to uncover the shaft. Down here, said Urgie, is where we get the fish we eat. Nobody knows if there's a whole lake down here or if it's bottomless, or if you can go down right to hell. He moved the rushlight about, and there was a round of black water shining their reflection in chirps and circles of chilly white light. Six says there's a gold carpet here, said Nor. She saw it once, biggest old thing. She thought it was floating brass kettle on the surface, and then it turned and looked at her. Maybe it was a brass kettle, said Liir. Kettles don't have eyes, said Nor. Anyway, Manek's not here, said Urgie. Is he? He called, Hello, Manek, and the echo rolled and dissolved in the dark. Maybe Manek went down to hell in one of those tunnels, said Liir. Urgie swung the lid back on the fish well. But you're it, Nor. I'm not going to look down here anymore. They gave themselves the creeps and raced back upstairs. Four yelled at them for making too much noise. Nor found Manek at last on the stairs outside the door at Auntie Guest's rooms. Shh, she said as they came near, and Nor trapped him anyway. You're out. Shh, he said again, more urgently. They took turns looking through the crack in the weather grate out the door. Auntie had her finger in a book, and she was mumbling something to herself, sounding them on this way and that. On the dresser next to her squatted Chistery in an uneasy, obedient silence. What's happening? She's trying to teach him to talk, said Manek. Let me look, said Liir. Say spirit, said Auntie in a kind voice. Say spirit, spirit, spirit. Chistery twisted his mouth to one side as if considering it. There's no difference, said Auntie to herself, or maybe to Chistery. The strands are the same, and the skeins are the same. The rock remembers, the water has memory, the air has a past for which it can be held accountable, and the flames renew itself like a phoenix. What is an animal but made of rock and water and fire and ether? Remember how to speak, Chistery. You are an animal, but animal is your cousin, damn you. Say spirit. Chistery picked a nit off his chest and ate it. Spirit, said Auntie. There is spirit. I know it. Spirit. Spit, said Chistery, or something like that. Urgie shoved Manek aside, and the children almost fell to the floor trying to see Auntie laugh and dance and sing. She picked up Chistery and hugged him and said, Spirit, oh spirit, there is spirit. Say spirit. Spit, 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 said Chistery, unimpressed with himself. Spite. But Killjoy woke from a nap at the sound of a new voice. Spirit, said Auntie. Speared, said Chistery patiently. Spared, spored, sput, 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 spat, spate, spit, speed, spurt, spot. Spirit, said Auntie. Oh, my Chistery. We'll find ourselves a link with Dr. Dillman's old work yet. There was a universal design among us all. Could we get deeply enough to see? Everything is not in vain. Spirit, my friend, spirit. Sport, said Chistery. The children couldn't stop laughing. They cluttered down the stairs and fell into the dormitory and giggled into the bedclothes. They didn't mention what Sarima saw or the sisters. They were afraid Auntie would be stopped, and they all wanted Chistery to learn enough language so he could play with them. One windless day, when it seemed they must get out of Kyamako or expire of boredom, Serena had the idea to go skating on a nearby pond. The sisters agreed and dug out the rusting skates Fierro had brought back from the Emerald City. The sisters baked caramel sweets and prepared flasks of cocoa. Even decorated themselves with green and gold ribbons, as if it were a second Larimas. Serena adored herself in a brown velvet robe with fur tippets. The children put on extra trousers and tunics, and even Elphaba came along in a thick cloak of purple brocade and heavy Arjiki goatskin boots and mittens carrying her broom. Chistery lugged along a basket of dried apricots. The sisters in sensible men's tribal overcoats, belt and latch, drew up the rear. The villagers had cleared the snow off the center of the pond. It was a ballroom dance floor of the silver plate, ingrained with the flourishes of 1,000 arabesques, mounted round with pillows and bolsters of snow to provide a safe repose for skaters who forgot how to break or turn. In the fierce sunlight, the mountains looked razor-sharp against the blue. Great snowy egrets and ice ribbons wheeled above. The ice rink was already noisy, screaming urchins and lurching adolescents, taking every opportunity to tumble and heap each other with cozily in suggestive positions. Their elders moved more slowly, procession around the ice. The crowd fell silent at the house of Kyamako approach, but children, being children, silence didn't last for long. Sarima ventured out into the ice, her sister in a knot around her with linked arms. Being largest, Sarima was nervous of falling, nor were her ankles strong. But before she could remember how things went, this foot and that, long, languorous strides, the uneasy feeling of social classes was accomplished. Elphaba looked like one of her crows, knees out, elbows flailing, rags flapping, gloved hands raking for balance. After the adults had enough excitement, but the children were only still warming up, Sarima and the sisters and Elfie collapsed on some bearskins that the citizenry had spread out for them. In the summer, said Sarima, we have a huge bonfire and slaughtered some pigs before the men could descend to the plains, or the boys ascend to the slope to guard the sheep and the goats. They all come into the castle for a shoot of pork and a few tankards of ale. And of course, any time there's a mountain lion or a particularly nasty bear, we let them into the keep until the beast is killed or wanders away. She smiled with nobly obliged in an abbreviated way off in the middle distance, though the locals were ignoring the castle folk by now. Auntie dear, you look quite the sight in that robe, and poking along the broom. Liir says it's a magic broom, said Nor, who had run throw a handful of granular snowflakes into her mother's face. Elphaba turned her head quickly and took up her collar to avoid ricocheting snow spray. Nor laughed unkindly in a beautiful phrase like a woodwind and scampered away. So tell me how your broom came to be magic, said Sarima. I never said it was magic. I got it from an elderly mount named Mother Yakel. She took me under her wing when she was alert enough and gave me, well, guidance, I suppose you'd call it. Guidance, said Sarima. The old mount said the broom would be my link to my destiny, said Elfie. I assumed she meant that my destiny was domestic, not magic. Join the sisterhood, Sarima yawned. I never knew if Mother Yakel was completely mad or wise, or a prophetic old hen. said Elfie, but the others weren't listening, so she lapsed into silence. And after a while, Nor came flinging into her mother's lap again. "Tell me a story, Mama," she said. "Those boys are nasty." "Boys are vexing creatures," agreed her mother. "Sometimes. Shall I tell you of the story of when you were born?" "No, not that," said Nor, yawning. "A real story. Tell me about the witch and the fox babies again." Sarima promised, knowing full well that the children considered Auntie Guest a witch. But Nor was stubborn, and Sarima relented and told the tale. Elphaba listened. Her father had taught her moral precepts, had lectured her about responsibility. Nanny had gossip. Nessa Rose had wine. But no one had told her stories to when she was young. She pulled herself forward a little so she could hear over the noise of the crowd. Sarima recited the old tale with little dramatic involvement. But even so, Elphaba felt a twinge when she heard the conclusion. "And there is the old wicked witch, stayed for a good long time." "Did she ever come out?" recited Nor, eyes gleaming with the fun of the ritual. "Not yet," answered Sarima, and leaned forward, pretending to bite Nor on the neck. Nor squealed and jiggled herself away, and ran to rejoin the boys. "I think that's shameful, even if it's just a story, to propose an afterlife for evil," said Elphaba. "Any afterlife notion is a manipulation and a sop. The shameful way the Unionists and the pagans both keep talking up hell for intimidation and the airy other land for reward." "Don't," Sarima said. "For one thing, that's where Fiera was waiting for me, and you know it." Elphaba's jaw dropped. When she least expected it, Sarima always seemed to be ready to push up with a surprise attack. "In the afterlife, said Elfie. "Oh, what do you take against?" said Sarima. "I pity the community of the afterlife when they're asked to welcome you in. What a sour apple you always are." Okay, so that's the end of that chapter. I will see you later. Bye.